I caught up with Health Secretary Eluned Morgan and began by asking if she intends to stand.
Well, I'm certainly giving it serious consideration, but if I were to stand, then I would be standing on a ticket along with Hugh Davis, who was a Jeremy Miles supporter. So it would be a unity ticket. This is something we're testing. There's been a huge groundswell of support within the party for that idea. People want to look to the future. They want to look to the next election. They want us to refocus on delivering for the people of Wales. And I think that there may be a real opportunity around that, but we're not there yet. That is something that we may come to a decision on in the next few hours and days.
Okay, presumably then, Hugh Davis would become a Deputy First Minister, is that correct?
Effectively, that's what the proposition would be.
Why does Wales need a Deputy First Minister?
I think if we're in a position, if you look at the situation we're in today, then there's been calls for somebody to take over temporarily in the situation where Vaughan finds himself today. If we were to have a Deputy First Minister, we would not be in the situation that we are in this summer.
What are the considerations for you?
The most important consideration is the fact that we need to focus on what matters to the public in Wales, the bread and butter issues that they were basically telling us in the election we've just been through that we need to refocus on. So we do need to make sure that we deliver now an opportunity to deliver like we've never had in the past 14 years, along with the Labour government in Westminster, on those things that matter to people.
But what do you need to consider before finally deciding whether or not you do stand?
Well, for me, the important thing is that we try and gather as many people around that idea as possible.
And how much support do you have at the moment?
There's a considerable amount of support around that idea.
Can you put a number on that, of Labour MSs?
Including unions, including support from across Wales, including critically the different factions in the Labour Party. And I think, I'd like to think that I'm in that radical Welsh tradition that has come from Eluned Morgan, where we're looking for that radical, but actually a position where you don't belong necessarily to any particular faction. And I think that's, I hope, what I can offer. But more than that, I can offer, along with you, some significant experience to deliver on the things that matter to people.
Does Wales need a female First Minister for the first time?
Well, that is something for people to consider. I'd like to think that it's not just about that it's also about a considerable amount of experience that I could bring to the table, including those links with Westminster, which I think are going to be quite critical for the future.
Talking of experience, we saw another set of record high waiting time statistics this week. Some people may ask how or why should you lead the country if you haven't been able to sort out the NHS? What would your response be to that?
Well, we have been struggling with waiting times. There's a very clear picture of where we want to go in future with that. And you'll see some of that coming through in the next few months. So we're hoping that a new Labour government will give us the opportunity to get the satisfaction levels back to where they have been traditionally when there is a Labour government in Westminster and a Labour government in Wales. That is when you get the highest satisfaction rates. So there's a real opportunity now with the UK government to see where the opportunities are around that.
When will you decide?
It'll be probably within the next hours or days.
Okay, it's got to be before Wednesday, obviously.
Clearly, and I think that's the important thing, is that we need the opportunity. I think the party would like to have a say in this process. We'll have to see how that works out. Healthy competitions is always an opportunity, but we'll see what happens next.
With regard to what's happened to Vaughan Gething, he said this week that people haven't been prepared to accept him as leader. How do you interpret that?
Well, I think there's been some really difficult times during Vaughan's tenure. The important thing, as far as I'm concerned now, is that we look to the future. That if we go back over the past, we're going to spend a lot of time just falling out with each other, and nobody's got an interest in that any longer. The focus has got to be on what are we doing for the people of Wales. If we can unite around that, and I do think as a political group, working with our Westminster colleagues, we've just stormed a Westminster election. We've just had significant wins across the whole of Wales, where we've wiped the Tories out of Wales.
But your percentage vote in Wales has decreased.
We played to the rules of the game, and the rules in that game meant that we actually made significant gains in terms of parliamentary seats. We understand that there will be a very different approach needed for the next Senedd election.
Would you have Vaughan Gething in your cabinet?
Well, we're in a situation where, first of all, I haven't been clear yet whether I'm going to stand, but secondly, all of that will have to be a discussion, and we'll have to think very seriously about what happens next.
And do you think that Wales needs a snap election in order for the next First Minister to have a clear mandate?
I don't think there's an appetite in Wales for a snap election.
Do you think we need one?
I don't think we need one. I don't think that would be something that the public would necessarily welcome. And my focus would be entirely on what is it that matters to the public. We'd have 18 months to really, really focus in on what matters to them. We've got a programme for government. I think we need to make sure that we refocus on the bread and butter issues that matter to the people of Wales.
There we go. Eluned Morgan, thank you very much.